That's just not a bunch of them. So getting back to this right here, so on Thursday. So Friday, appointment set up at 4 o'clock on Friday. So at some point on Thursday, I'm going to call up and I'm just going to say, Kat, I just wanted to confirm with you that we're still good for Friday at 4 o'clock?
Yep, looking forward to it.
Great. And you and your significant other will be there at the appointment?
Oh, you need him to be there too?
Is he on title as well?
Yes.
He is. Is he available for that time?
Yeah, I'll make sure he's there.
Wonderful. Well, I'm very excited to sit down with you, Kat, and I want to make sure that we get the most out of this meeting tomorrow. So before we get together tomorrow, I got a few questions for you. Do you got a couple minutes?
I do.
Wonderful. Well, so Kat, before we get together tomorrow at 4 o'clock, just curious, are you planning to list your home with me to get your home on the market?
I'm planning to list my home.
Okay. This is still unsure about working with me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Are you planning to interview some other agents as well?
Yeah.
Great. And I don't know, I would probably keep moving from that. Sometimes I'll dig a little deeper with it. But what I'm trying to do, number one, I want to find out if she's planning to list with me or interview other agents, right? If she's interviewing other agents, if I can get their names, even better.
What is the second one under call? What does that say?
Call, remind about the appointment.
Okay, fine.
Pre-qual.
So it's just pre-qual. This is what it is the pre-qual.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You say you're going to try to find out who the other agent is. Tell me why.
Because then I can tailor my presentation based on who I think I'm up against. If I'm up against, what's that?
For instance.
For instance, I know I'm up against
Alex.
the #1 agent in the company or in this county, right? Or Simi Valley, and I'm up against them. Then I want to know what my strengths are versus that agent's weaknesses. Or if I can see that, okay, yeah, they've dominated this market. I'm new to this area, right? Well, there's always something. There's something that I can say that you will, I will be your point of contact from every step of the way, right? There's something that you can highlight that they may be interested in, but you got to ask them questions to do it. So one of them, when I went to the Mike Ferry Superstar, I think it was either the last one or the one before, they talked about a report card. So what he would do is he'd find out who the other agents were and then pull up the stats.
Right.
He knew that his stats were much stronger than whoever he was competing against. So every single time he would ask, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you think it'd be helpful if you have a report card of the agents that you're looking to interview? Should I bring that to our presentation? And they were like, oh yeah, that'd be very helpful. Great. Can you share with me, who those other agents are? And then he'd get their information, and then when he showed up, it showed his average days on market, his sale ratio, his price versus theirs. Laid out all the facts. If you're working with an analytical, that's gold, right? So you're trying to do a few things by these questions. You're not just trying to make it uncomfortable. Most people are scared to ask these questions because they think that it's too much. You're asking too much and pushing too much. And I got to be honest with you, I typically don't ask right out the gate, are you planning to list with me when we get together tomorrow? Right? That's the first one on the pre-qual script there. I don't ask it to start with. I generally will ask something to the effect of, so obviously something has come up in your life, for the reason for us to get together tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Do you mind sharing with me what's occurred in your life, right? So it's something, some life event has happened, job transfer, death in the family, divorce, something has happened of why we're having this call right now. Downsizing, we have another kid on the way, whatever, or, trying to get a bigger home, downsizing because the kids have moved out, graduation, whatever it is. I want them to start telling me their story, right? So I'm going to ask a question, something to that effect. And if I don't get the chance to do it on the pre-qual, then when I sit down with them, as we get to the discovery, my very first question is, ultimately, what do you want to accomplish with the sale of your home?
Don't you find that they give that information very freely in the beginning, though? I mean, usually when they call you, they're saying, at least my clients have always said, well, this is what's going on. Either I'll say, well, what's going on right now, or they'll just flat out tell me. But usually that one comes out pretty quickly for me.
That's awesome that it does. That people trust you and feel comfortable with you. It's also trying to think of the ones that you're going after that aren't in your database, right? Somebody's been referred to you. You don't know them yet.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that you're finding out. They always say, what is it? Seek to understand before being understood,
Right,
right? The focus is about them.
right.
Hear their story. So if you're already doing it, that's perfect. That's what you want to continue to do. That should always be your focus. The problem is most of us have a set presentation, and we talk about how great we are, our experience, all the great deals, everything that we've done, how great Century 21 is, and it's this general presentation that goes from beginning to end. And I talk to a lot of agents all the time from different companies, and they're like, oh, our presentation is perfect. And I've seen it. It's beautiful. A lot of bubble gum all through it. I mean, it is professionally put together. And I remember one agent, he shows it to me, I'm like, how do you not take every listing that you take? And then he's just like, man, you're making me feel pretty bad about myself.